Rapper Deshaun Holton, better known as Proof, one of the founders of the rap group D12 and a close friend of sometime D12 member Eminem, was shot and killed in a Detroit nightclub. He was 32 years old.
I went through a really rough time with that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it hit us all.
Bouncer heard the shots and some he just came and started shooting recklessly. And
The bouncer?
The bouncer. And he shot Proof and he shot his own cousin. So he both of them.
Proof, a rapper from Detroit, was a key member of the hip-hop group D12 and was known as Eminem's best friend. But despite having a promising career, it all tragically ended when he was shot at a Detroit club in 2006 at just 32 years old. This is the story of Deshaun Dupree Holton, a talented young man who started rapping at a very young age but had his life cruelly taken just as he was becoming a significant figure in the rap scene.
My force before I grow extinct, my backbone, disown my zone, while I roam.
Proof and Eminem grew up together on the same block in Detroit. In fact, it was Proof who encouraged Eminem back in the day to hit up the hip-hop shop and work on his freestyling skills at open mic nights.
And Proof said, "What up, M? Yo." So I said, "Proof, won't you come in?"
Yeah. Come in, one time for that. Tango and Cash, Kane and Mango and Blast. Together.
Even if you're just a casual Eminem fan and don't really know about Proof, you might recognize the character Future from the movie 8 Mile, played by Mekhi Phifer, who was based on Proof. Throughout his career, Proof mostly stayed underground and kept a low profile, but he had a brief and somewhat unfortunate brush with fame years before becoming well known when he appeared alongside Bizarre in a music video for Aaliyah's song Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Despite that unlucky cameo, Proof had big dreams of making it big in the rap game. Around 1996, he decided to assemble his own crew of rappers from Detroit, aiming to find 12 of the best MCs and form a group called the Dirty Dozen, or D12. However, finding 12 talented MCs proved to be harder than expected, so someone came up with the brilliant idea of getting 6 sick MCs and giving each one an alter ego. This way, they still made up a Dirty Dozen with 6 rappers and their 6 alter egos. This concept was actually where Eminem's Slim Shady persona came from. Every member of the group had their own split personality. Proof was also known as Dirty Harry, Eminem as Slim Shady, Bizarre as Peter S. Bizarre, Kaniva as Rondell Bean, Swift as Swifty McVeigh, and Mr. Porter as Con Artist. D12 made their debut in 1997 by dropping an underground EP. Around this time, several members of the group started to gain individual recognition. Bizarre was named Inner City Entertainment's Flavor of the Week. Proof won a freestyling competition run by The Source magazine, and Eminem had just released his Slim Shady EP, which eventually caught the attention of Dr. Dre and led to Eminem's breakthrough Slim Shady LP. As Eminem's star was on the rise, tragedy struck the group. In the early days, before D12 as we know them today, there was another member named Bugs, introduced to the group by his friend Swift. Tragically, on May 21st, 1999, Bugs was involved in an altercation in Detroit, where he was shot multiple times and hit by a car, leading to his death. After Bugs' death, D12 was left shaken and the vibe around the crew turned really dark. At that time, Eminem was not officially part of the group, but after Bugs passed, he decided to step back in temporarily to help the crew with some immediate obligations. This temporary return eventually led to him rejoining D12 for good. Interestingly, the group had this pact where if one of them made it big, they would come back and help the others rise too. Once the Slim Shady LP went triple platinum, it was clear that Eminem was a major player in the rap game. True to his word, he came back for the crew and established Shady Records under Interscope specifically to sign D12. When Eminem blew up in 2000, Proof joined him as his hype man on the Up in Smoke tour, also known as the Weed Smoking Olympics, alongside Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. The crew continued to honor their fallen friend Bugs, dedicating both the Marshall Mathers LP and D12's Devil's Night to his memory. An old recording of Bugs' song Desperados was included on the later D12 album D12 World, retitled Bugs 97. Devil's Night saw D12 under Proof's leadership hitting the top of the charts. The album's name was a nod to the Detroit tradition of setting abandoned buildings on fire the night before Halloween, as shown in 8 Mile. After this successful release, the crew took a 3-year break to enjoy life and work on solo projects. Proof even had a cameo in 8 Mile playing the rapper Lil Tic, who battles Eminem at the start when he chokes. By 2004, D12 was back in the studio, recording their follow-up album D12 World. This album was another hit, topping the Billboard charts once again, but America was not enough for them. D12 World also topped the charts in several other English-speaking countries including Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, and the UK. After the album dropped, Proof kept the momentum going with his solo success, independently releasing his album Searching for Jerry Garcia on his newly established Iron Fist Records. In a sad twist of fate, Proof was depicted in Eminem's music video for Like Toy Soldiers as being shot and K-worded, a scene intended to represent Bugs's Eminem later expressed feeling guilty for this portrayal, wondering if it brought bad karma. Despite the foreshadowing, Proof and Eminem remained tight until the end, with Proof even stepping up as Eminem's best man at his short-lived second marriage to Kim, which lasted only 82 days.
Proof often shared the stage with Eminem. He was even the best man at M's wedding this past January.
Now, there's a lot of conflicting info out there about what actually happened on the day Proof died, and a lot of questions still go unanswered to this day, but let's dive in. On April 10th, 2006, Proof was out for a night of fun, as he often was. Old habits die hard, and Proof had mad respect for the city that raised him. His patriotism was unmatched, and that loyalty kept him close to the neighborhood even though he was a star and could have moved somewhere safer away from the dangerous company and environment. Instead, he chose to stay in the heart of the city he loved. It was an honorable choice, but ultimately a costly one. That night would be the last time Proof would enjoy a night out in his beloved city. There are numerous accounts that reshaped the moments leading up to his passing, but one key detail is the place where it all went down. The CCC Club along Detroit's 8 Mile Road. Before Proof arrived at the place where the tragedy would unfold, his night had already started with 2 friends. They were club hopping, having a good time. As the night went on, his close friend Reginald Moore, aka Mud, messaged Proof to find out where they were hanging out. Proof replied that he was at the Coliseum, a gentleman's club, with 2 other friends named Mac and Chop. Mud joined the trio and the 4 of them hung out at the titty bar, drinking, chatting with the DJ, and then moving on to another club called Rolex. They were having a blast, enjoying the night, drinking more and living it up. But the night was still young and they decided to keep the party going. This decision brought them to Proof's final destination, the CCC Club. By this time, it was after midnight, now Tuesday, April 11th, 2006. At the CCC Club, the festivities continued leading up to the gruesome moments that would end Proof's life. Reports state that around 4:30 a.m., things got heated between Proof and a patron named Keith Bender. Bender was a veteran of the First Gulf War and a former medic who was forced out of the army due to a heart condition. Ironically, Bender was at the CCC Club to celebrate some good news about his health. Allegedly, the altercation between Proof and Bender started over a game of pool. The argument escalated and Proof allegedly knocked Bender to the ground. After this, reports say Proof drew a firearm and shot Bender twice, one bullet hitting him in the head. As Bender lay bleeding, a friend of his returned fire, delivering the wounds that would end Proof's life. Both men were critically injured and transported to the hospital. Proof was rushed to St. John's Holy Cross Hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Keith Bender was taken to St. John Hospital where he was listed in critical condition. Sadly, Bender succumbed to his injuries and died 8 days later. As further investigations rolled on, it turned out that the main suspect in Proof's tragic death was not just any random guy. He was actually Bender's cousin and the club's bouncer, Mario Etheridge. Etheridge found himself in the spotlight as the one who allegedly pulled the trigger, ending Proof's life. The day after the incident, Etheridge turned himself into the police with a lawyer. By the next day, Wayne County prosecutor Kim Worthy charged him with carrying a concealed weapon and discharging a firearm in a dwelling or occupied structure. But this led to a lot of uproar. Friends and family of Proof were outraged because one major charge was missing from the list: murder. Kim Worthy reassured everyone that even though Etheridge wasn't charged with murder initially, the investigation was still ongoing, hinting that the charge could still be on the table. Etheridge pleaded not guilty to the charges and posted a $7,000 bond, getting released from Wayne County Jail. Meanwhile, the CCC Club faced the music too. They had to close their doors for a period of time because they were found at fault for the altercation. Clubs in the area were supposed to close at 2 a.m., but local residents and the police said the CCC Club usually stayed open from 2 to 7 a.m. after other clubs had closed. The incident with Proof happened hours after 2 a.m., and considering there had been 18 police reports about the club over the past decade, including shootings and other violations, Proof's tragic was the final straw. The entire Detroit community and the hip-hop world were rocked by the news of Proof's passing. When news outlets started broadcasting the tragedy, it was clear how much Proof meant to everyone. D12 was devastated by Proof's death, but no one felt the loss more deeply than his best friend and brother from another mother, Eminem. The two had a bond that went way back to their childhood days. Eminem first met Proof outside of school on the steps while he was handing out flyers. Proof didn't see Eminem as just a white kid wanting to rap. He saw a fellow hip-hop lover and a kid with mad talent. From there, their bond only grew stronger. As we mentioned earlier, Proof played a huge role in helping Eminem break through in the hip-hop scene. Back then, hip-hop was predominantly a black art form, and a white kid wanting to rap was often met with skepticism. But Proof saw Eminem's passion and talent and knew he had something special. He would trick people at school into listening to Eminem rap, knowing that once they heard him without seeing him, they'd become believers just like he was. And sure enough, Eminem's talent broke through the stigma, catching everyone's attention.
I used to sneak him in there into the lunchroom, right? And I used to be like, they should be like, we want to battle you, Proof. I used to be like, nah, you can't battle me. Why don't you battle the white boy over there first? And everybody would be like, either do the bust a little rhyme, then Emma come out and him the whole lunchroom, which is all black dominated school, would be looking like, damn. You know what I'm saying?
The release of Eminem's movie 8 Mile gave the world a glimpse into his life, and the character Future was a nod to who Proof was to Eminem. Their friendship was more than just a bond. It was a brotherhood that played a crucial role in their journey to becoming rap legends. From the moment they met, their paths were intertwined. Where there was Proof, there was Eminem, and vice versa. Proof was Eminem's right-hand man at every concert, making them the ultimate dream team. They went from being kids with a shared passion for hip-hop to touring the world together. It was the kind of friendship and success story that everyone dreams of. Just a few months before Proof's untimely he stood by Eminem's side as the best man at his wedding in January 2006. Proof was more than just a friend. He was a vital part of Eminem's life and career. They often shared the stage, creating unforgettable moments for their fans. When Proof was unalived, it felt like a piece of Eminem's soul was ripped away. The grief pushed Eminem into a dark place, leading him to substance abuse that nearly took his life. He was consumed with guilt, wondering if he could have done something to change the outcome if he had been there that night.
Stayed next door to each other, so we all took it pretty hard, man, but you know what I'm saying, I think he probably took it harder than anybody because, you know what I'm saying, they were literally best friends.
The release of Eminem's song and video for Like Toy Soldiers in 2004, where Proof is depicted getting shot, added to Eminem's feelings of guilt. The video showed scenes of Proof being shot and Eminem waiting anxiously in a hospital, which eerily mirrored the real-life events that would unfold later. Proof's death was a massive blow to the group D12, which he held together with his energy and leadership. Without him, the group could not continue, and Eminem's 2018 track Stepping Stone on his Kamikaze album reflected on the end of D12. Proof's absence marked the end of an era for Detroit's hip-hop scene. The city of Detroit was deeply affected by Proof's death, leading to a wave of retaliation and more lives lost in the aftermath.
A lot of shit happened after that, like a lot of people end up getting killed. Yeah, a lot of shit was going on after that.
Amidst the mourning, numerous theories and speculations about what happened that night at the CCC Club circulated. The trial in September 2006 provided some clarity but also added to the confusion. The prosecution's case hinged on the claim that Mario Etheridge, Bender's cousin and the club's bouncer, fired the first shot as a warning. Assistant prosecutor Elizabeth Walker stated that this warning shot was the first indication that anyone had a weapon. According to the prosecution, this prompted Proof to draw his gun and shoot Keith Bender, Etheridge's cousin. However, this narrative was challenged by Reginald Moore, aka Mud, an eyewitness and Proof's friend. In August 2006, during an interview with XXL, Mud recounted the events differently. He claimed that when they arrived at the CCC Club, he was the only one armed. As the night progressed and they prepared to leave, Mud noticed Proof and Bender in a heated argument. He tried to de-escalate the situation, but tensions were high. Bender reportedly shouted at Proof, "I don't care who the F you are," and then sucker punched him. According to Mud, everyone cleared the room to let Proof and Bender fight it out, but then Etheridge fired shots into the air to break up the fight. This led to a struggle between Mud and Proof over the gun. Proof managed to get the gun and fired it into the air as well, which escalated the chaos. During the commotion, Etheridge allegedly started firing in their direction, hitting both Proof and his cousin Bender. The wounds proved fatal for both men. In court, Wayne County Circuit Judge Vera Massey Jones sentenced Etheridge to time served for the concealed weapon charge and fined him $2,000 for firing a gun in a building. Prosecutors maintained that Proof fired first and Etheridge acted in defense of his cousin. They argued that Etheridge's warning shots were an attempt to stop Proof Proof before he aimed the gun directly at him, which formed the basis for the charge of illegally discharging a firearm. It's really heartbreaking that Proof's life was cut so short because he had so much going for him. Born to Charlene Pepper Holton, a single mom, Proof had a rough start. His dad, McKinley Jackson, was a music producer who left to chase his career even before Proof was born. Despite these early challenges, Proof's drive and talent were undeniable. After forming D12, he didn't just ride the group's success, he made a name for himself with his solo work too. Proof dropped a solo album packed with big names like 50 Cent, Method Man, Nate Dogg, Be Real from Cypress Hill, T3 of Slum Village, Obi Trice, King Gordy, Eminem, and D12. He decided not to produce the record with Shady Records or Aftermath because he wanted to build something of his own. His album, Searching for Jerry Garcia, came out on August 9, 2005 under his own Iron Fist Records label, coinciding with the 10th anniversary of Grateful Dead's Jerry Garcia's. The album had a prophetic track called Kurt Cobain, where he spoke about his own death and passing the torch to his protege, Firstborn, after he was gone. Proof admired Jerry Garcia's genius and eclectic style, which went against the grain, and he wanted to be remembered similarly as a true artist who did it for the love of hip-hop, not for the charts. Searching for Jerry Garcia got some positive reviews, praised for its eclectic and introspective nature, but despite the star-studded guest list and good reviews, it did not make a huge impact on the charts. Proof also teamed up with Twisted for a track called How I Live on their album Independence Day, and during his Gold Coast tour in 2006, he recorded a song with Australian artist Liquid Silva. Just before his untimely Proof wrote and recorded what would have been his third album, Time to Tell, with DJ Jules' Baby in just 24 hours. This album was later released as a mixtape on DatPiff in 2010. In a touching tribute, Welsh singer-songwriter Jem dedicated the song You Will Make It to Proof's memory on her second album, Down to Earth. In the liner notes, she mentioned it was for all those who experienced the tragedy of sudden loss. She revealed that she wrote the track the day after Proof was while she was in Detroit recording with Eminem's friends. Eminem himself eulogized his friend with the unreleased track Difficult, which leaked in 2010 and later on his album Recovery with the song You're Never Over. Eminem has continued to honor Proof in various songs, showing just how deep their bond was. Proof's farewell was nothing short of grand. He was given a truly honorable send-off, buried in a 24-karat gold casket at the Fellowship Chapel in Detroit on April 19th.
No more, Daddy, you're mine. She's piling boxes in front of the door, trying to block it. Daddy, please.
The chapel was packed to the brim with over 2,600 people, all there to pay their respects. Eminem was right there in the front row, sitting beside Paul Rosenberg and 50 Cent, and he delivered a powerful and moving eulogy that really hit home for everyone present. There's actually an amateur recording of Eminem's speech from the funeral that's floating around online. In his speech, Eminem shared a heartfelt and funny memory. He came to me one day when I was living in my house on the east side and threw a pair of shoes at me. He said, "Put them on." I said, "Why?" He said, "Put them on your feet." I said, "Why?" "Because I'm tired of you wearing them dirty-ass shoes." Eminem went on to say how Proof had this incredible ability to light up a room just by walking into it. He said, quote, "Without Proof, there would be a Marshall Mathers, but there would not be an Eminem, there would not be a D12, and there would not be a Slim Shady." It was a touching tribute that highlighted just how instrumental Proof was in shaping Eminem's career and the legacy of D12. Swift, another member of D12, faced his own set of consequences following the funeral. He missed a court date to be a pallbearer for Proof, which landed him 93 days in jail. Considering the bond they shared and the importance of the moment, Swift probably felt it was worth every second behind bars. Proof left behind a legacy that continues to impact Detroit and the hip-hop community. He had offered so much to his city and to the music industry, and he was on the verge of achieving even more. The outpouring of love and respect at his funeral showed just how much he was cherished. Proof's tragic passing left a hole that still feels unfilled. He left behind friends, fans, a wife, and 5 children. But his legacy is forever engraved in the heart of Detroit and the music industry. His projects like I Missed a Hip Hop Shop, Searching for Jerry Garcia, and Time to Tell ensure that his contributions and memory live on. Rest in peace, Proof.